Okay everyone, today we're going to talk a little bit more about consistency. And in past videos I've talked about setup and getting the setup the same every time. So if we think about consistency, it's not going to happen unless you're able to repeat some patterns and repeat a certain skill level over 18 holes and over a period of weeks or months. Sure, you're always going to have a level of drop off or play better than you expect, play worse than you expect more often than not. But if you want to get to a point where you have, some form of consistency, reality is we need to repeat the same skills, the same patterns over a certain period of time. Now, I barrack for the Carlton Football Club, so I'm very, very frustrated with the fact that if they play well, they play 7 out of 10. If they play poorly, it seems to go to a 3. And same with golfers, is you might hit 2 or 3 absolutely wonderful golf shots, but it's the poor shots, the absolute mishits, the absolute wrong decision potentially in the wrong spot, and those bad shots. The old saying in golf, it's not how good your good shots are, it's really how bad your bad shots are. The best players, the winners of club championships, at local clubs, at city clubs, at country clubs, are generally players that just have that consistency and they wear you down in the final of the match play or whatever. So here's a few tips, right, for today, for your road towards a little bit more consistency. Now, we have talked about going through the setup procedure, and why do we do that? We want to do that because we want our setup to be the same every time. So therefore, if you go and play at Albert Park Golf Club, or you go to Huntingdale or Royal Melbourne or Colac Golf Club, wherever it might be, you repeat the same pattern, you repeat the same setup routine, and over a period of time, there's a level of consistency that you will take from that, as long as you're able to repeat it and you put the work into it. Okay, so another aspect, I suppose what I'm working on here now, or talking about in this video, is what would be the next step to attain that somewhat level of consistency. Now, we don't have enough hours in the day today to talk about all the different types of golf swings that the listener has. Some people play an over-the-top cut, some play with a big duck hook, some hit the ball short but straight, others hit the ball long but crooked, a million varieties, right? But what I think can help is if we get you practicing the right way, okay? Now, I'm just going to hit a couple of shots here, and what I'm going to take you through here is my routine, and I'm going to talk as I go, all right? So I'm standing behind the ball. I'm trying to stand so the camera can see me, by the way. Normally I'd be a little bit further back, but I'm going to stand behind the ball, and I'm here at the driving range filming this, so I'm going to point at the target in the middle there near the 125 flag, right? I've got a 7-iron, so it might go a little bit over the top of that, but that's okay. So I've picked my target, right? So now my next step is to walk in, and you'll notice that I keep an eye on my target as I walk in. I walk in, then I keep an eye on the ball. I'm going to go through my setup procedure. One last look at the bullseye, go. Okay? Not too bad, a little bit left. Coming back slightly actually. So, I'm going to do that again, and then I'll talk about what I'm really doing, okay? Visualize, get my target. So I've made a decisive decision on where I'm trying to hit the ball. I come on in, right? Set up. That's the same as before. One last look at my target, pull the trigger. Okay? Now, I understand that my level of striking consistency will be a higher level, but all we're trying to do is get a 2%, 3%, 4% improvement, and then you can work from there. So if you can get yourself to a point where you say, okay, I'm going to have a pre-shot routine where I'm going to be decisive. Step 1 is decisive. Where am I trying to get the ball? All right. Step 2 is to walk in and get the same routine over the ball every time. So your setup is similar to what it needs to be every single time. Step 3 is to take one last look at your target and pull the trigger, all right? And you might do the same, I suppose, speed of that every single time. Jack Nicklaus kept looking at the target more often on some shots that were harder. On easier shots, he may not need to look as many times at the target. So his I guess, overall time frame was a little different. But what I'm trying to get is some structure that you have before the shot, decisiveness, picking the target, get over the ball the same way every single time, one last look at your target and pull the trigger. And you can actually say these things to yourself as you go through the shot. Now, if I play with a 20-metre slice, that on a good day is 10 metres, 15 metres, on a bad day is 30-metre slice, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick my target, then I'm going to allow for my fade or slice. I'm going to do my setup slightly out to the left, one last look at where I want the ball to start, and pull the trigger. And then what you'll find is you'll start to limit the amount of swing thoughts you have. Because I tell you what is a guarantee to continue with inconsistency is to come out to the golf course with a different swing thought every single day. 1 minute it's a backswing, the next minute you're changing your hand height at the top, changing your follow through, changing your setup. That is an absolute certainty to continue with inconsistency. So what I'm saying here is we build a bit of a basic routine, decisive, number 1, set up over the ball, number 2, commit to the target, number 3. And then you start to build in more layers. You might work on your rhythm of how you do that. You might work on your speed of your swing, your rhythm of your swing, and even the timing of the shot, like pull the trigger at the same moment every time. And now you're starting to behave like an athlete and a golfer, and you're not trying to play the game as if you're a golf coach or a technical expert, all right? So I hope that makes sense. I hope that works for you. And I know you can only practice at home at the moment. For those lucky enough with a net can do it. But when you do, we're only a couple of weeks, knock on wood, from getting back out to some golf courses and ranges, and you can give it a whirl then. Good luck.